What in the world is going on in the Jets locker room right now? I mean, Sauce Gardner deleted his Twitter account or X account. Breece Hall deletes a tweet where he had 4 football emojis, meaning one for each carry he got yesterday. Yeah. Zach Wilson with 3 interceptions to finish the game. What do you think is going on there right now, Chris?
It's just a tough emotion, man. It's like a letdown. It's another letdown for the Jets. Obviously, Rich, I'm not trying to, make light of y'all's fandom, but it's like Groundhog Day. It's just with some little different twist and, all the build up with Hard Knocks and the whole thing. And now I think for those players, and this is where I get into trouble as an analyst, Rich, is like, I believe you should give your guys a shot to win. You should burn the ships to do that. I look at them having that first round pick that they didn't anticipate having. And you've got a locker room full of guys, especially on defense. You could point to any number of them and be like, these guys are playing their best ball. Are they going to waste it? Now, they didn't play great yesterday, but I'm talking about, they have talent on defense, and it's hard to play defense on a team that's going 3 and out and there's sudden changes. Offensively, you got guys like Garrett Wilson. It's like, my entire legacy is tied to the quarterback play. And for this team, I think the window was open this year. So I look at this and you see the stuff on Twitter, the football emojis, it's a little early for wide receiver tweets from a running back. And you have a number of like red flags here. And I just think they got to go out at some point. Now it's early because the teams that might give you a quarterback like Minnesota, they're probably thinking, we can't do that week 2. It doesn't look great. Like, we're trying to win, right? And Kirk's look good. But I do think you got to go out and get somebody. And I don't think it can be Carson Wentz or some other found piece like a Joe Flacco. Like, this team deserves a shot to win the whole thing, a shot. And, they put that work in. They've constructed the roster. And here's what I don't understand from coaches. Mm-hmm. You trade for Aaron Rodgers, and Joe Douglas is my guy. And you say, we're doing what we have to do to win. We didn't have what we had here, or we don't have what we need here. We're going to go out and make this move. Well, what's changed? Like, nothing's changed. And basically what you're saying week 2 is it's not important enough. We're just going to roll with what we had last year. You can dress it up however you want, but you're making a decision to go with the status quo. And listen, some people thought I was being hard on Zach Wilson, but some of the same mistakes showed up. And I know that game's not the way they want to play it, but the same Zach showed up in certain spots.
Well, and the guy who I think single-handedly put Zach Wilson in a dustbin for many Jets fans and maybe some of the defenders in the locker room is coming to town at 0-2 next week. Belichick, who, as you know, this is a red-letter game to begin with, but this is also a red alert game for his team. My gosh, this is just not unfolding the way that you'd want for the Jets. Honestly, I don't know what some of these defenders in the locker room might be saying. They, Garrett Wilson says they're all together, but this is on Robert Saleh's plate, I guess. I don't know, Chris.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I've been on defenses where the offense didn't hold up their end of the bargain. Like, I've been on teams where we held Marshawn Lynch to 24 yards on a Monday night and lost. Like, it's frustrating. You try not to make it personal. You try not to take it out on the guys on the offensive side of the ball. At least I think what they have going is they know it's the quarterback, right? Like, there are other deficiencies, but I like the O-line. I like Garrett Wilson. I like Lazard. You've got tight ends like Breece Hall. They have pieces offensively. So you're not going to look over in that room and blame everybody. But where it gets really hairy is like we've seen this movie and Zach Wilson didn't have a lot of leash.
Well, I mean, Broncos fans saw this movie too. One last one for you on this, and you know where I'm going. Because, again, the offensive coordinator was brought in first. Nathaniel Hackett was brought in. We all know why they brought him in, right?
Yeah.
And so now it's his job to coordinate an offense for a quarterback who might not grasp most of the playbook, half of the playbook, even at 3/4 of the playbook. And then he's the one who was dialing up the passes. He was the one who went away from the run. Do you think Nathaniel Hackett can, if you will, hack it under this circumstance, Chris.
Well, the evidence isn't there to suggest that he would be able to. Like even if they brought in another quarterback, it's not his guy. Like him and Aaron have like a history, and obviously that's why he's there. It's like inviting somebody to a fancy dinner who's got a famous +1, and then they have a rain check, and you're like, it's just you. Like, I don't mean this like disrespectfully, but. Oh man! But it's and Hackett's a good coach, but the whole situation was predicated. There's a reason he was a head coach. He's a good coach,
right?
But like, there's a difference between being a good coach, good coordinator, the whole thing. And I kind of wondered how it would play out with Rodgers, right? Because you kind of assume, hey, from a scheme standpoint, they got it down. He's going to have his menu, but. Like, do you really believe that there weren't going to be bumps in the road, even with Hackett calling the plays kind of de facto as a group, getting it done? And the problem is with Zach, you can't run a lot of the stuff that you want to run. Like in that first game, they ran like an RPO in the second half, and he messes up the read. And, the run game's a plus, but like, do you turn his back to defense? You can't make checks that Aaron made. You got to work the half field stuff. Like, everything about it is different, and I just wonder how it's going to work out, even with a new guy.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.